I went down to look at my old garden. This is like 40 years ago. I used to garden down here. And it's funny, I haven't been down here for years. Never bothered. I see you got a lot of nice little ferns growing down here that I will maybe transplant. But what I was going to mention, at one time I planted some oregano. That's what that stuff is there. Now, oregano is an invasive species. This whole garden is now covered with oregano. It's everywhere. And I don't know how you'd ever get rid of that. But I got to transplant some of that up into my new garden. Now, when I say about pocket gophers, this is a pocket gopher mound. And it's a heck of a mound. Completely covered with oregano. So maybe gophers like oregano. But the problem, I used to have the garden down here, but the trees grew up so much around here that it was too shaded. I really couldn't garden down here anymore, so I moved up to the other one. But I was coming down here because that used to be a greenhouse back in there. But there again, it got completely overgrown with plum bushes. And now a tree has fallen on it. So I don't know how much I can salvage out of that. Because I want to build a greenhouse up in the new garden. But I don't know what to do with this oregano. They always say that's a bad thing to have, like if you have a milk cow, because it'll go into the milk. I did find I got a good sprinkler can down here. I'll have to look over. I don't know how that got left behind. I've got another one that I use. You got a little bulge on the bottom. But we'll see. That could be repaired. I use them quite often. But, I don't know. I think the greenhouse is a shambles. But there might be some stuff I can salvage out of it. But I think it was a big, well, just a mess. But I think it was actually an elm tree that fell on it. But then there's all these plums that grew up, and most of them are dead. Though, like this is a plum here. In fact, that makes me think I should check. At one time I planted an apple tree down here. Well, that turned into a disaster. Oh, in fact, my God, this is it right here. This is an apple tree that I planted. But, okay, the disaster was, it was a Haraldson. The problem is that the Haraldsons are usually made by grafting onto a crabapple root. The deer killed the Haraldson, and the crabapple came back. So this is a crabapple tree. I only got about 4 apples off of that tree before the deer wrecked it. But I think, judging by the insect bore holes in that, I think this might actually be dying. Though I did also plant that birch, and that looks pretty good. It's a pretty big tree. I would like to see some little ones from that, but yeah, that looks perfectly fine. Gosh, funny, I haven't been down here for so long. Yeah, that's a regular birch. Yeah, but I'm going to have to come down here with the tractor and push these old dead plum bushes out of the way and see what I can't salvage. Well, there's some of the fiberglass pans that look like they might be okay, and the door might be okay. And this was built using these, you see that little bracket in the corner, that little green plastic thing? you would basically just use 2x2s and tack them in those plastic things. So not the strongest structure in the world, but it worked. You know, for years I used that until these plum bushes took over, and they are a nuisance. I see something back there that looks like a plastic barrel way back in the bushes, and I don't think that's on my property even. But I could just hook on with these with a chain and drag these dead plum bushes. Well, they aren't completely dead. You can see there's blossoms on them, but they're kind of an iffy proposition anyway. And this pocket gophers have taken, we used to play ball down here. Now it's completely overgrown. But I should yank out some of them little trees that are taken over. Oh yeah, this crab apple's got blossoms coming on it. But I was looking for a Harrison, you know, and I end up with crab apple. And an old garden hose, which I'm sure is no good anymore. Though that black plastic tub, oh, there's some big tin cans that were good for keeping cutworms down. Well, I'll have to get down there with the M37 and see what I can't get out of here. It is funny though, the oregano is just, you know, and I don't think there's any way killing it. You're just going to spread it. Yeah, this would be a good place to transplant from. Oh, I think she's an anthill. She's considerably springy. I think that's what it is. It's a heck of an anthill. But that is the property line right there. But it could be, you know, maybe this is one of them cases where, though I don't like to use spray, it might be a good idea to spray this, or that oregano is going to get all the way out in the pastures. But like I say, it's not advisable to have that. She got out of hand, so when I plant it in the new garden, I am going to have to be a little careful so I can keep it under control. Yeah, that birch is a nice tree. That's funny. My old cabin is back up here. Yeah, nice old Polaris. Well, it's the body of a Polaris. I got the motor in a different one. But this is an interesting patch of ground because right here is where the old trail used to go, right through here. So a lot of times digging in this garden, I would find old wrenches and stuff that had fallen off of wagons. Got a kind of a collection of that stuff. If I'm really ambitious, I might be able to get this wire out of here too. I think I spent a small fortune on wire. Well, but I will have to save these ferns. You know, when I think of it, I planted asparagus down here one time too, but I don't think that took off. That's probably just too shady here. Because when I first started here, these trees were small, but now, you know, it's getting on to be 11 o'clock and it's still in the shadows. But I'll have to come down here and collect some stuff, which is kind of a flash from the past, even come down here. But I really haven't been down here for years. But this oregano is something else. You know, it's good to have, but man, she is invasive. Well, good to have another sprinkler can. I can say that's the one benefit I got out of this. In that black plastic tub, I can make use of that. Well, here's the handle for some something, some kind of potato fork. But the cans, them I can make use of. They're good for keeping cutworms from getting, because cutworms travel just under the surface. And there's probably a bunch of old junk in there too. Gardening tools and whatnot. But to get them plum bushes out of the way. Yeah, that appears to be a plastic barrel over there. I don't know where that came from. Blew in from someplace. Well, that's a job for today. But no, I don't think. But I'll have to show you, I don't think I can salvage much off of there, but I'll have to show you a little bit more about them plastic things. I still have a box of them. And I did use some to make a little tin shed that is still holding together. I'm going to move that over and use it for the chicken coop. And like I said, I still have a box of them. I could maybe make another greenhouse if I could salvage a few of these. Well, there lays a rake, just in need of a handle. And get these posts out of here. Yeah, she was a good garden when she lasted, but them trees just kind of took her over. And now, the curse of oregano.